Everose here, back with another deep dive into the hearts and flaws of the Hunter x Hunter's characters. Today we're turning the spotlight onto Leorio Paradinight, the loudmouth, the dreamer, the comedic relief, but also one of the most surprisingly guarded and big-hearted characters in the series. Yeah, so before we get into it real quick, I know I talk about red flags and everything else, and yes, Leorio is considered a green flag because he's a good guy, he has a big heart, but he has some red flags tendency, which I will get on in this episode. So, on the surface, Leorio can look like a bundle of red flags, hot-headed, defensive, and quick to throw a punch. But beneath that, he's actually one of the most strongest green flags in the story, loyal, compassionate, and driven by a dream that's all about helping others. This episode is about looking at both sides of Leorio, the flaws that make him chaotic and the heart that makes him unforgettable. Let's go in. Before we jump in, I want to say thank you for all the love and support on this series. Episode 19 is all about Leorio, and I had such a blast digging into what makes him both a mess and a blessing in the Hunter x Hunter universe. Yes, you guys, so I cannot believe we are at episode 19. That is such a blessing to me, and I'm not gonna say much on here, but in my next episode, I will reveal a very special surprise. It's, to me, I never, I take it with such a humbling and humility with this that I never expected to go this far, but it's such a blessing, and I love to do what I'm doing. I love to inspire you guys. I love to talk about these characters, even though I will admit I haven't said this on this channel, but I am not a professional psychologist in any way. I just love digging in. I love putting on my own perspective on these characters and talk about their feelings, their red flags, and maybe green flags as well in this, and just talk about what makes these characters so amazing and so unforgettable. And Leorio is just one of them, and yes, he's such a loudmouth, but he has such a good heart. And I'm really excited to dig into this episode, and I cannot wait to make more episodes to come. I'm really enjoying what I love. And thank you so much for, your love and support. I really do appreciate you guys for that, and I cannot wait to make more episodes. All right, let's get into it. Segment 1. Loud, hot-headed, and full of red flags. Leorio is one of the first characters we meet, and he instantly leaves an impression. He's brash, reactive, and quick to defend himself, sometimes without thinking. Anger and defensiveness easily provoked, especially when his pride is on the line. So Leorio is a doctor, you guys. In the beginning, he's very, he's very reactive. I've seen both versions of Hunter x Hunter. And in the beginning of the show, which I'm going to kind of go by a little bit of the 1999 version, since they kind of put a lot more emotion, and not saying the 2011 doesn't either, it does. But in the 1999 version, Leorio's he's more rude in the beginning. He's in the beginning when Gon goes to the ship to go to the Hunter x Ham, he goes up to Leorio, which Leorio gets into a fight with one of the which people from the market, and he's trying to get something. I forgot what it was, but he's very rude to Gon at first. and he doesn't want to help Gon get on the boat or anything, even they don't show that in the 2011 version because they had to cut that part because half of the stuff of the 1999 version, you guys, which I totally recommend you guys watch it before going into the 2011 version. That's just my personal opinion because that's when you get to know a lot about the characters a lot more, but that's your opinion as well if you guys want to do it. But anyway, going back to it, Leor's very mean to Gon at first, but it's because of his defensiveness. He spoilers ahead here, but Leorio lost a friend of his to I think it was pneumonia, I forgot what it was, but his friend, I forgot his name, but he lost his friend, a childhood friend of his, to that, and he said he didn't have much money because he was broke. He lost his friend, and he, in the 1999 version at least, he hallucinates about his friend, about his childhood, friend, and he almost ends himself because his quote-unquote childhood best friend kind of tells him to. Not really, but that's what Leorio hallucinates, at least in the 1999 version. But in the 2011 version, he's a lot more comedic relief, at least in the 2011 version, because they, like I said, they had to cut out some of parts of the 2011 version because it was very dark, at least in the 1999 version. It was very dark, and it would have probably stirred up some feelings within people. And so in the 1999 version, Leorio, from the very beginning, he can be very rude and stuff like that. In the 2011 version, he's a lot more, yes, he's reactive, yes, he's kind of a bit of an asshole a little bit, but once you kind of get to know his character a lot more, he has such a big heart. But like I said, he gets very defensive really quick. He gets defensive with Kurapika. If you guys have not seen my Kurapika episode, I've already done a video on him twice. You guys can check it up on the link on top of on your screen. The title card will show up. So yeah, he gets very heated with Kurapika, but eventually they become really good friends. And in the very beginning, at least in the 2011 version, he warms up to Gon real quick. In the 1999 version, he did not. He was very rude to Gon. He didn't want to do anything with Gon. He even told Gon to go away. From the 1999 version, at least, he told Gon to go away, not to bug him, not to do this, not to do that, And in the 2011 version, he warmed up to Gon real quick. It was really sweet, really, really sweet. Okay, let's see. He's very impulsive in nature, tends to leap before looking, which can get him and others into trouble. Oh yeah, he gets into trouble a lot in the series, both in the 1999 version and the 2011 version. He's very impulsive. So if you tell him something, oh, don't do this, because you won't make it out of there. In his head, he's so stubborn and defensive real quick that he wants to prove to you otherwise that he can. But that otherwise can also lead into trouble, which he got into trouble more than once that, Kurapika, Gon, and even Killua had to save him more than once. And comedic relief, his over-the-top reactions often masks real insecurities, which means he's very insecure about being known as the weak one, being known as he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't have much money at first. And and at least in the 1999 version, his friend is the one that really caused him to have those insecurities, and the reason why he's so overreactive is because of his loss of his friend, of not having much money, and that he wants to be perceived as the tough guy, not as the weakly one. That's why both in the 1999 version and the 2011 version, when I first saw the show, I honestly thought he was in his 30s, but no, this is a kid. This is a 19-year-old kid that dresses up like a lawyer, looks like he has a midlife crisis, but he's not. He's just a 19-year-old kid that wants to look more older and to be respected more. But over the fact that he gets over the top, that's why a lot of people at first don't take him seriously, because he doesn't take himself seriously, even though he wants to be taken seriously. Alright, let's keep going. Forgot to mention, these are his red flags. The flaws that make him imperfect, but also deeply human. They remind us that even the good guys come with rough edges. Alright, let's keep. Segment 2. The dream, the drive, and his green heart. Underneath the temper is Leorio's true core. A man with a dream of becoming a doctor to help people. Compassion, motivation. Unlike many hunters chasing glory, money, or power, Leorio's heart is rooted in kindness. So yes, even though he has red flags and he's very temperamental and stuff, he is considered very kind. He has very vulnerable moments at points of the show. He loves his friends. He loves Gon. He loves Killua. He loves Kurapika. All of them really matter to him. And if it wasn't really for Gon is the one that really anchored all of them into this iconic group. He really, ever since, spoilers ahead, ever since Leorio passes the Hunter exam, he goes right into going to medical school, paying his, college, his student loans, everything. That's what was making him, very much insecure about, because he didn't have much money and he couldn't really pay off his student loans. That's why he took the Hunter exam. But he's very rooted in kindness. He's very overprotective of Gon. In the fandom, which I find really sweet, he is either considered a older brother or a father figure to Gon in some way, even though he's 19 and Gon is maybe 12, 13, or 14 from the show, throughout the show. So, he gets very overprotective of Gon, and when he gets into an argument with Gon's father, which I also have done a video on both of them, on Jing and Gon's father. I already done a video on him with Everose, as you guys can look up on the title card. He punches Jing, which Jing deserved it, because Jing is not really good father to Gon, and Leorio cared a lot more for Gon than his own father ever did. and that's why, in my personal opinion, I kind of consider Leorio as both father figure and brother figure a little bit, because he does have tendencies of an older brother, but he also has tendency of a father, which is like when he got overprotective of Gon, when he was in the hospital and he punched Jing. He also has tendency of a bit of a father figure to Gon and Killua, and they really look up to him. He really looks up to them, with strength and stuff. And he's one of, I think he's, no, not that I think, I know he's one of, which is very unfortunate. Maybe since Togashi is going back into the manga, I'm super excited. Maybe we'll get to see more of Leorio's nen abilities, because we only got to see, at least in the show, a little bit, but it was that he punched Jing and that was it. Like, we didn't see no more than that, and that was very unfortunate, because it was like, oh my god, Leorio finally learned nen, and that was awesome. So loyalty. He sticks by Gon, Killua, and Kurapika through thick and thin, even when he's outclassed. So he's the last one out of all of them to get his nen, which eventually is kind of a little sad, because you barely see him kind of throughout the episodes, but you kind of understand why. But it's very interesting how he's very loyal and he loves his friends to eternity, to the point of death. To be honest, he'll risk anything for them, and I find that super sweet. Courage through flaws. His impulsiveness, when fueled by love and loyalty, turns into raw bravery. So when he faced Jing, though, I would have to say he had really, he had tough words to say, and he actually meant them, and that's a whole lot of bravery, because, mind you, this is a 19-year-old kid going against, someone much older, someone that in Japan you would consider respect, right? But Leorio had no respect for Jing, and literally punched Jing through the microphone. It was really well deserved, though. But yeah, he was really brave to do that, in front of all these people, in front of, everyone. That was a really brave move. So this is a side of the Leorio that flips the script. The green flag energy hidden behind all the yelling and chaos. Segment 3. Friendships, insecurities, and the balance between red and green. What makes Leorio compelling is the tension between his red and green sides. With Gon and Killua, he becomes the older brother figure. With Kurapika, he offers grounding loyalty even when Kurapika is consumed by vengeance. With his own self-image, much of his defensiveness comes from insecurities. He knows he isn't the strongest, but he refuses to let that stop him from standing beside those who are. So real quick, even though I already kind of spoke on that, so when it comes to Kurapika, Killua and Gon, since they're considered the youngest, Kurapika is the second oldest of the group. Leorio's the oldest one. He takes them under their wing, but also Gon and Killua, yes, they make fun of him. They make fun of him. They get on his nerves, but he's very overprotective of both of them. If anything were to happen to one of them, he's there. And with Kurapika, since Kurapika is the second oldest, he's the one that kind of anchors Kurapika, because if Kurapika gets angered or has one of those moments where he doesn't know whether to trust or to hurt someone, Leorio's there to kind of calm him, to kind of put some sense into him. And about his self-image, going back to his insecurities, yes, he isn't the strongest one. He isn't strong like Gon and Killua. He isn't. Yes, he's loudmouth. Yes, he has a short-tempered, but he's not. It's not enough for him to kill someone like Kurapika would, and that's why he's insecure, because he knows he isn't the strongest. He knows he's the one that has to be saved the most, but that doesn't stop him from trying, from wanting to get respect, and he, like I said, he'll do anything for his friends, as much as they do for him. So and he's not afraid to open his mouth, though. It might get him in trouble, but I forgot to mention this, he's done that more than just with Jing. He has done that to everyone that has either made fun of Kurapika, made fun of Killua, made fun of Gon. He's there. He will open his mouth, even if it means getting beat up by maybe other group. He doesn't care, as long as he knows that his friends are protected and they protect him. All things are good. All right, let's keep going. Segment 4, final thoughts plus what's next. Leorio is proof that you can be flawed, messy, and impulsive and still be a green flag at heart. He reminds us that anger doesn't erase compassion and mistakes. Don't erase loyalty. In fact, it's often the most flawed characters who feel the most real and the most human. Thank you for joining me in exploring the loud, the chaotic, and secretly big-hearted Leorio. Next episode, we'll be diving into another side of Hunter x Hunter, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Stay passionate, stay curious, and never estimate the power of kindness, even when it's hidden behind a punch by the face. Love y'all. Bye!